Hi all, hope you're okay. It is Wednesday afternoon and it's pretty darn miserable here in West Sussex. The hounds are hibernating. We have Boo just over there, and I don't know if you can see in the corner Bertie hiding away, hoping that I'm not going to encourage them to go out. I'm really glad that I've got whippets for that particular reason. We do not go out in pouring down rain because they don't appreciate it. So I'm here today to give you 5 really super simple tips to take better camera phone photos of your dogs. It's non-techie, and you will wonder why you haven't thought about them yourselves, probably. But it will hopefully transform your images into something that you can be really proud of just by using these 5 simple rules. So I know that there were a couple of people who were hoping to join the live video but weren't sure how to get on here. I'm hoping it will just give a little notification and you will be able to see that I'm live. If you have any questions at all, please just give me a little note in the comments and hopefully they will pop up and I'll try and answer them as I go along. So without further ado, I will start with the 5 non-techie tips to take better photographs of your dog with your camera phone, although I guess these will apply to any kind of camera. It's just not very technical, which is hopefully quite good for some people. So the first one actually is a little bit of a cheat. I get a lot of people asking me how to get their dogs to pose, and it's pretty much down to training. All I do with my guys is I train the wait command, but make it really super fun for them. And it starts off just literally by getting them to sit or stand and saying wait and then literally treating them. This is how we started. And then waiting a couple of seconds, giving them a treat, moving away, waiting a few more seconds the next time. It takes time to build up, the training and the wait. I can now walk away from my dogs when I've given them the wait command and go sort of 20 foot away and they will wait for me, which is amazing. My dogs are superstars, and it takes a bit of time and patience, but you have to make it fun for them. They now will leap up onto one of my favourite logs on Devil's Punch Bowl without even me asking, because they're up there so often and they just assume that I want them to go up there and give them a treat kind of thing. So that's the first super non-techie tip for taking better camera phone photos. It's actually to get your dog involved and get them excited about posing for the camera. Another tip is when you've got them to pose, when you've got them to that stage, is try some noises that they haven't heard before to get real focus. So with my clients' dogs, I use like weird noises like or, and if none of the weird plethora of noises work, I've actually got a duck caller, which gets that really cute head tilt. And I'm going to add some more sounds to my little arsenal soon. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is something that's really easily, in the heat of the moment, missed, and it's just watch out for your background. So have a look before you even take the photograph. Is there something growing from your dog's head? Is the horizon line cutting through it? Can you move your camera up a little bit? Can you move your camera down a little bit just to make sure that there's no distractions? And actually changing up how you shoot. So instead of standing up and taking a photo, maybe bend down a little bit, come right down to your dog's level. And again, just keeping an eye on the background, making sure there's like not a distracting bright spot or really distracting colours in the background, moving the camera around slightly, and just thinking about the image before you take it. The other thing is, as you will probably see from my previous post when I was announcing that I'm going to go live, is to not put your dog in slap bang in the centre of the scene, to make it a little bit more dynamic, especially if you're doing sort of landscape shots or if you're in a really cool room. Try using what photographers call the rule of thirds. So maybe putting him in the bottom third of the image. So maybe bottom left if you've got a really nice panoramic vista and they're sort of looking off. I don't know why I'm gesticulating because you can't see my hand. So putting them in the bottom left or the bottom right, and always giving them space to look into. So if your dog's facing this way, don't have the edge of the image kind of just here. It feels a little bit like you're missing something. So if you're taking a photo of your dog and it's looking this way, try and leave a little bit of distance in the frame so that your dog has something to look into. And it just gives it a much more sort of feeling of peace. I find images where the dog is looking to the frame here just really constricted. I don't know if that makes sense. The fourth, very, very, I don't know if we're on 3 or 4. I might be giving you an extra tip here. I've lost count. The fourth really, really simple one is pretty much most smart cameras now have a portrait mode, and I'm surprised at how many people don't actually know about this. If you have a look through your settings, it's either a portrait mode or selective focus mode, and all you need to do is kind of tap the camera to let tap the screen to let the camera know where you want to focus. And as long as the background isn't too busy, so don't put it next to like a really bushy tree or something like that, then the camera is smart enough to blur out the background for you. And it creates some really stunning imagery just on a camera phone. And I think the new iPhones actually have a slider so that you can even make more blur or less blur depending on what kind of style you like. So it's a really smart way to get rid of distracting backgrounds, and most cameras now have it, which is fantastic. So the 5th or 6th, I can't remember which, top tip is always look for some really nice light. This is my favourite thing to look for. On a day like today, it's really difficult to look for nice light because it's really gross and grey and overcast and rainy. However, you can do something like I'm doing now and position your dog in front of a window. So a lot of people use this as a nice soft light for portraits, both of people and dogs. So I'm facing the window now, whereas if I kind of turned round, you can see that I've got like harsh shadows on one side. And then if I do that again, it's a nice even light. So for selfies as well, it's quite good. Not that I take very many of those. So always look for really nice light. If you're in a position where it's a really bright sunny day and you want to take a portrait of your dog, rather than have him squinting towards the sun, have a look for some open shade. So in the shade of a building or underneath a tree, but facing where the brightest spot of light is. That creates, again, this really nice even light, but also creates some really beautiful catch lights in your dog's eyes. I don't think I've got any comments yet, but I hope you're enjoying it. So yeah, so look for some really nice lights. There's a light called the golden hour, which photographers adore, and it's basically an hour, within the hour after sunrise or within the hour before sunset, where basically the light gives on this beautiful magical quality. So if you want to have a bit of an experiment with your dog, going out in those kinds of lights and just having a play with how the light looks from different directions. Hi Samantha, thanks for watching. So they are my 5 or 6, I can't remember, I lost count. Really super simple non-techie tips for taking better photographs of your dog. Some of these will also be on my podcast, which I'm recording at the moment, along with some inspirational stories from some dog brands. I hope to have that done by the end of the month, so I hope you'll join me on that as well. But if you have any questions, oh thanks, I'm really glad that you're enjoying it, Louise. Yeah, it is easy to get carried away and forget about these things. But yeah, just calming and slowing down a little bit will really help, and just taking a context of what's in your surroundings. Samantha, it should be available on the replay if you've missed the first bit. I'll make sure that it's set to play again. And I'll also pop it on YouTube so that you can go to it there anytime. As I said, these are always on, these are going to be on my podcast as well, so it's going to be really easy to find wherever you go. So I will leave you with that. I hope the weather is a little bit better from here. At least the garden's getting the water. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Take care.